Hello and welcome to the demonstration kitchen, streaming live today from Hobart's Peterborough head office. Thank you for joining us in our first ever live stream. My name is John Stewart. I'm the product manager for cooking and food preparation here at Hobart. I'm also Chief KP today, and this is...
Hi, I'm Greg Crump and I'm the development chef for Hobart UK.
Today we'll be highlighting some of our key lines and how they can aid the tough demands on modern kitchens. From the compact space-saving mini-jet combi at only 525 wide, but still with full gastronom capacity. We'll see the time saving of the high-speed steamer, capable of producing 3 gastronoms of veg in under a minute. We'll see the flexibility of multifunction with the Pressy Pan, and also how we can maximise productivity with the PressyJet Plus combi oven. Over to Greg. Please tell us what we'll be seeing today.
We've got a selection of dishes that we're going to go through today, really showing the versatility of all the pieces of equipment that we've got on show. So we've got a piece of salmon, some sea bass, we're going to do some steaming in bamboo baskets and a nice faux Asian soup. We've also got some parsnip crisps and roast tomatoes and a piece of steak as well that we're going to go through.
Fantastic, sounds great. Let's get started.
Yeah, no worries. So what we're going to do, first and foremost, we're going to come over to the cooking range and we're just going to have a little overview of everything that we've got here. So like John picked up on here, we've got the mini jet oven. This is the smallest oven that we have in our range, but still has the capacity of able to get 4 1x1 6.5 pitch gastronoms in there. So I always use the actual example of 80 breast of chicken at one time. This oven could be single or 3-phase, and as you can see, has a nice clear screen to use. It also breathes from the actual front of the oven, so when we're actually putting this closer to pieces of equipment, we can fit it closer because we've got the breathing there. Moving over, we're going to look at the PressyJet Plus. So this is the top spec, highest of our range here, and have you look on the screen, it's a nice, bright, easy functional screen to use. One of the benefits from this is, as you can see straight away, on our 10 grids and 20 grids and 40 grid ovens, we're widthways loading. We find that we got a nice ease of use there. We got visually, we can see the product really, really well. On here as well today, what we're going to actually show is a program system on here, John. So we'll go into that a little bit later. But moving on over to the rest of the equipment, here we have the fridge block unit. Inside the fridge block unit, we have a piece of sea bass, some aubergine and some steak. And just underneath in the fridge, we can fit another 3 gastronoms. The idea is the chef is just rotating the stock constantly while they're cooking over here.
So he doesn't have to leave his station, he's always there in front of the equipment.
Exactly, I mean, what we've got here is the Pressy Pan. So we've got 2 18-litre multifunctional cooker, okay? The beauty of this is at the moment, as you can see there, I've got 7 litres of oil in here, so we can shallow fry in here. We've got, this mode will be on what we class as the multi-zone. So in a minute we'll demonstrate there's 3 different zone areas that we can distribute the heat different temperatures on here. We have also, with this as well, a 3-way drain system. So with the drain in position at the moment, 65mm pitch all the way through for the product. If I just look here, there's a green light on, John. What that tells me is that if I have, for instance, water in here, boiling pasta, I can empty the water directly down into the main drain. We've also got the separator. So again, we look at pasta. We're boiling a load of pasta in here. The separator will stop the pasta going down. It will clear the fluid out, and then we can add sauces, etc., to make in there. Underneath as well, what we can also do with this piece of equipment is we could open the door and there's a lever which we just pull across. Anything now that is evacuated from this will go into a full gastronom underneath. Let me just lift that out and show everyone. So a nice deep gastronom. This is ideal for the chef to be able to refrigerate this straight away, blast chill it, serve it, whatever they need to do.
So he doesn't need to get any other bits of kit. He can decant it straight into the gastronom, clean the pan down and be ready to cook again.
Exactly. Nice, clean, hygienic to use. We're not tilting this where we're going to get debris underneath, etc. It's nice, clean, flushed and sweeted, and it's just so versatile. Really, really good piece of equipment. So just going across again now, what we've got is the high-speed steamer. The high-speed steamer has been with us for years. It's amazing piece of equipment. We've got the 3 functions at the top. So there's 3 different levels of pressure that we can use here. We've got an atmospheric pressure, half bar of pressure, which may be used for more delicate fish items, and a full bar of pressure, which majority of the time this is going to be on, because that's the point of it, it's a pressure cooker. All we need then is the timer and press start. Nice and easy to use, and I mean I've got a perfect example here. So we have some noodle pot really, so we've got some fresh noodles and bean sprouts and some salmon and prawns, all in a bamboo basket. One of the benefits of this as well is that if I was just to put one of these in, John, it's going to take us around about 40 seconds to cook this. If I had 9 in here, it's still going to be the same cook time. So all I need to do there...
So it doesn't matter the volume,
no,
the cook time remains the same.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's ease of use for the chef.
100%, you know, it's consistency all the time. If we get 3 gastronomes here, we'll put those in full of broccoli, 75 portions of broccoli, 45 seconds. If I put 1 florette in there, 45 seconds. Okay, so what I'm going to do now to use this is just place my hand onto the actual door, push it tight, press start. I've selected my timer and close the high-speed steamer down. All I did then was just blow the cold air out of the cavity, and what's going to happen now, this is going to get to a bar of pressure. Once it gets to a bar of pressure, the time will start counting down, and when we get to 0, we'll get some lines come across the screen. This will tell me that it's gone through to depressurization. Once it's depressurized, we'll get an alarm go off, and the product's safe to be removed. Throughout this process, we've got a solenoid here which will come across, and it will actually just lock the door into position, so you're not going to be able to open the door. And when it depressurizes, it will retract back in just before the alarm goes off.
It sounds very, very... Is it a healthy way to cook?
It's possibly the healthiest way to cook. What's happening at the moment, when we go through the cook time on here, all of the juices and goodness within the product, if we cooked in any other method of cookery, leaks out of the product. Well, here it tries to do that, but the pressure pushes it back in, keeping all the vitamins, nutrients, colour, everything's retained into it. So as you see at the moment, we're just counting down. And once we get down to, again, 0 seconds on there, we'll get the lines come across and it'll be ready.
Typically, how long would that take if you were doing it through a combi or over the basket on a steamer?
Well, yeah, I mean, looking at a combi, we're probably looking around about 6 minutes for this to be done. And over a steamer, a similar sort of time as well, John. So, you know, you're cutting your time down there.
5, 6, 7 times, depending on the product.
Exactly. Glad you did the maths then, because it took me a while to work out. So here's the depressurization. You've heard the catch, just retract straight in there again. And then all I do is reverse what I did to close it. So arm goes on, the alarm has now gone off, it's safe to open the high-speed steamer. All we do is open the actual the door, and we'll see residual steam come out. Open the door fully, and we're ready to go. So all I've got here, we're going to put the bowl on there, and this is something that could be served at a table. Gives a little bit more...
a little bit of theatre.
Yeah, a little bit of theatre to it. So inside, look at that in there. The colour of that salmon. Beautiful, nice green beans.
You can see the oils coming out naturally.
Yeah, exactly. Piping hot. So all I do to present this as well is just put it onto a bowl. I've got some hot faux noodle stock that we've got over here as well. So all I do then is just push that over the actual fish, and you've got a beautiful Asian dish there.
Fantastic. I think I know what I'm having for lunch today.
So all I do that is just leave that there for everyone.
Looks good to me, chef.
Yeah, so what we're going to do now with the high-speed steamer, John, is we're just going to put some hand-cooked chips that I've made as well. And again, we're talking about batch cooking in gastro pubs, independent restaurants, for instance. We could have 3 gastros worth of these, you know, talking nearly 100 portion chips. And I just blanch these off at 3 minutes. So we're not having to have these in a pan on the stove where bits of potatoes breaking up and you're losing some of your yield. This keeps pure consistency every single time. It doesn't matter if we've got, you know, the kitchen porter's doing it, the commie, or the executive chef. You're going to get the same results every time. So what I'm also going to show with this as well, if I just slide the potatoes in, just in my fridge over here, I've got a nice piece of Thai salmon, and we're going to cook this at the same time.
So there'll be no transference of flavours?
No, there'll be no. So reverting back to earlier when we're talking about all the products being pushed back in by the pressure, you're not going to get any cross-contamination of flavour. So all I do is close the door, as we spoke about, go up to 3-minute marker, start the process again.
Typical cook times, say you were doing broccoli or vegetables, what would be typical cook times with a steamer?
So some examples, if we use tender stem broccoli, we're looking at 15 seconds. Normal broccoli, around 45 seconds. That works for cauliflower as well. Also as well, you know, with this high-speed steamer, you get a full recipe sheet with ingredients and times next to it as well. So it gives the actual end user a little bit of a port of call to go from, a framework that they can work on. But there's lots and lots of different things we can do in it. It's not
so it's
just
good for doing prep, but yeah, it's good for doing a la carte.
Exactly. I mean, you can make soup in here. I cook raw pork ribs in here. A full rack of ribs takes 27 minutes. You can draw the bone out. You know, so we're taking something that's a usual cook time of, say, 3 hours, 3.5 hours through an oven, down to 27 minutes in here.
Sounds like a chef's get out of jail free card.
It definitely is. So, moving over, what we're going to have a look at now. As I said before, we've got this on fryer mode, so we're looking at 165 degrees on this at the moment. We talked about the three-way drain. One of the actual benefits we do have from here as well is that at the back of the gastron underneath, there's actually another oil container. And what I'll do is I'll remove that and show everyone quickly. So we've just got an oil dispenser there, a bit of a oil container, and what that would do is lock into position. So all I've got here is a small control knob that goes in, and it will lock the actual gastro into position. Once it's locked into position like it has now, all I'd make sure is as soon as I put this on fryer mode and the oil's at a safe temperature to do so, remove the drain, and the oil will flow into the drainage system, into the container at the back, and then I can slide it
Ready
all.
to hold. And same again, you can wash down and be ready to cook straight away again.
In the morning, put it back in if you're required to use it again. Slide it back. Everything is neat and tidy.
So there's no extra cupboards, anything needed to put anything in. It's all there.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I mean, we spoke about also doing a program on the combi oven. So all I'm going to do at the moment is just to preheat the program. So if I go into auto and then look at the chocolate fondant recipe and press start, that's automatically just going to preheat now. Once that preheats, we'll get a beep from that oven. And then, John, I'll ask you to put the chocolate fondants in for us if that's possible.
Happy to do that.
Yeah. Also, as well, at the moment, in the mini jet, if you're able to put my garnish in for me, that'd be fantastic. So
of course.
Parsnip crisps and some cherry tomatoes. So one of the things that I've done with the mini jet, just to set it up, John, is turn the fan system down to 10%. So because the parsnip crisps are nice and light, they're not going to blow all around the cavity of the oven. You've got full control over that fan system. So what we're going to do now is go on to the multi-zone system, like we spoke about. And from the multi-zone at the top temperature, I'm going to work on 205, the same as in the middle as well. And at the base, we're going to look at 180. So I've pressed start now. Within less than 2 minutes, that'll be at temperature, and we'll be ready to go.
What are the benefits of the multi-zone? What sort of things can you put through there?
From a perspective, I cook a lot of breakfast through there. So at the back, we can have your sausages browning nicely at 200 degrees, and then I can be frying eggs at 180 at the front. Also, stir fries are fantastic. Using the separator as well, where you can cook the meat at the back and the vegetables at the front, and then just stir it all together at the same time.
So you could cook the noodles, use the separator, push it back, use the multi-zone and incorporate it all. Same again, you're in front of the equipment the whole time.
Yeah, indeed, yes. I mean, so as you heard, the beep's finished there. So all we're going to do is just open that and let that get rid of the residual steam. We're going to move a plate onto here. Just going to shovel this along the bed a little bit so we can see it nice and visually. And on here, I've got some Thai green curry sauce, which I just put a tiny amount in there. And then I want to show you the salmon as well, because the results are fantastic. And as you can see here, You're not getting any proteins coming out of the meat. It's nice, it's retained its colour, it's retained everything. Move that out of the way so everyone can see. It's retained the colour and all the greens stay beautifully on top. So John, if you could just put the chocolate fondants in for me, that's telling me we're all preheated and ready to go.
Just going in, chef.
Yep, and as soon as you shut the door, that'll automatically start the programme. Okay, so all I'm going to do there is just place a little slice of that salmon on there.
Let me take that away, chef.
Thank you. We've got a nice piece of lime. And then just garnish it up. And this is great for a little starter or a light lunch dish. And there's the nice bit of salmon. So we've also got the chips in here. What I'm doing with the chips, they're nice and blanched now. And like we spoke about, we could do 100 portions of that in 3 minutes. I'm just going to leave that on the side to let them dry out.
So you could do those in the morning or the day before to give that extra crunch.
Exactly. So everything is up to temperature now. That's how quick this is. We're settling in. The bottom is perfectly at 180 and the middle's at 105, and we're just getting to 105 on the top as well. So it's beautifully balanced out.
So typically you would, a griddle takes about 20 minutes, half an hour to...
And you know, one of the main reasons for showing this as well, John, if we're in a hotel environment where we're doing a 24-hour menu, room service menu, one of the worst things from a chef's perspective is you've cleaned down, you're ready, you're walking out the door, check on, okay? So when a check comes on, right, I've got to put a griddle pan back on, I've got to heat that up for 20 minutes, I've got to put a burger on it, etc. What's going to happen here, within 2 minutes I'm up to temperature, okay? As soon as it's pan fried, I can then dispense some water in from the back tap there. That will deglaze the pan, so it's literally cleaning itself, sanitise it, turn it off and walk out the door.
So cool orders at night. You don't get to get the breakfast chef in an extra hour early to turn everything on.
No, yeah. It's efficient, extremely efficient, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't swallowed it with loads of oil. It's just got a little bit of oil in there. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of rump steak in there. And using my opposite glove as well, I'm going to put a bit of sea bass in the middle. Okay. We know ideally this probably wouldn't be done in a restaurant, but it's absolutely fine. You're going to get no spillage flavours. Really, really effective. And as you can hear now, it's sizzling away nicely.
So it's sealing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to put some nice clean gloves on, and I'm also going to put a little bit of some aubergine, little tapas dish that we do as well, just at the base.
The aubergine's very popular at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah,
love aubergine.
So yeah. We've got this 180 degrees, so it'll give it a nice caramelisation.
And cook it all the way through, which is important with aubergine.
Yeah, of course, or else it just goes tough, and no one wants that. So nice piece of aubergine as well going in, and that's just pan-searing. And then I'm going to put a bit of lemon in there as well, just to glaze it to go with the sea bass. So you see it's nice and clean. Now one of the main things here, John, is not to disturb anything. You know, all this will move away like silk. One of the chef's biggest things is that we like to put things on stoves and then all of a sudden shake them, etc.
People will go past. I think it's one of the biggest tips for barbecue season for people at home as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Just let it sit until it's
complete.
Yeah.
All we're going to do is pop some seasoning on naturally. So a nice piece of salt on there.
I believe we've just had a check on, chef.
Ah, lovely, yeah. So, again, talking about when the chef's coming in last minute and they've got to get a burger on and stuff. If you are getting checks on while you've got other food on, all you need to do, again, the piece of equipment we've got here gives you that flexibility, and also having the high-speed steamer next to us does as well. So one of the beauties here, what I can do, I've got some prawn pakora mix that I've got ready, and all I'm going to do is drop that into the fryer. Just do a few little lozenges of that. And then got some panko prawns as well, which I will just put into the fryer as well. So we've got a couple of tapas dishes going on in there. We've got a pan full of meat and different products as well. We've also got the chips are ready to go. But one of the items that I want to show you as well is very similar to the bamboo basket. We've got you always name this better than I do, John. Is it a barquette?
Barquette. I would call it a barquette.
So So we've got some sushi cut salmon and prawns and vegetables in there as well. So I'll just show that the camera there. So what I'm going to do with that, this is done in a little time. You know, John, what do you reckon kind of cook time on this at the moment?
Don't know, about 35 seconds, 40 seconds.
A bit less than that. We look around about 28 seconds for this.
Fantastic.
So real short time. And like we keep saying, you know.
So they could be ready, or they could be a mix and match.
Yeah.
Say in a health club or some sort of environment. They could come and I'll have a little bit of that, put it in a basket, straight in the steamer and straight in front of the customer.
Protein and nutrition all in one dish.
No extra fat, no added anything.
Exactly. So I'm just going to drop a few of these prawns in as well. And then last minute when they're nearly done, I'm going to put some of the padron peppers in as well. So rest of my stock just goes back in the fridge, keeping it all nice and tidy all the time.
Menu development must have been a real pain looking at what we were cooking today.
Yeah, exactly. So we're now at the stage where we're ready to flip the sea bass, beautifully crisp, flip the steak as well, move the lemon, and I'll just give the aubergine a little turn as well. And I'm not sure how much of this you can see at the moment, but it's beautifully caramelised and...
well, I can attest to the smell.
Yeah, exactly. So our little barquette is done already. It's depressurised, and again on the high-speed steamer. We'll get that little alarm. John, will you be able to take the tomatoes out the garnish?
I can get the garnish out for you, chef. Oui, chef.
Everything's coming together now really quickly. So, alarm's gone there. All I need to do is remove the barquette. As you see there, we've got a really nutritional... Again, let's move all this down so you can see this. We've got a beautiful salmon boat there with everything in there, noodles and some ginger and sweet chilli on there as well.
There's so many different ideas you could do with those sort of things, couldn't you, through there?
100%, yeah. Lots and lots of different items we can go there. The versatility on it is amazing. So we've now got the prawns that are nearly done, and I'm just going to throw some padron peppers in there as well, in vogue at the moment. Give them a little blistering in the heat. Our sea bass...
I see you've only got it at 165, the temperature of the fryer.
You know, we've only got 7 litres of oil in here, so the heat's distributed really, really evenly. So, again, it goes down to how effective it is. It maintains the actual temperature across the whole of the oil.
So you don't get the drop in the temperature, so the batter will stay crispy, the breadcrumbs, so you don't need to put all that heat into it in the first place.
One of the things to show as well on that, John, is that if we have this full of water and we want a sous vide in there, again, the heat transfer is just impeccable. It stays at a perfect temperature all the way around. So there's no need to have a circulator in there pushing the water around.
You said that because you said there were 6 heat pads underneath?
Yes, yeah. So there's 3 rows of 2, and that's what we've done in this. We've zoned off with the aubergine and the steak and everything. And it just gives us that flexibility on what you need to cook on there. You know, you've got that... We know for a busy service, not everything's going to be at a particular temperature. You've got to change things around a little bit.
So you could have one as a resting zone for the steak, for example.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plate up the sea bass.
My favourite.
Yeah.
What's the secret to a crispy skin, would you say?
Well, on there it's not moving it, not agitating it at all. A little bit of oil, not too much. Leave it, and as you can see, that's moved away like silk. I haven't had to do anything other than with that, you know. Gone are the days where we've got to cook baking paper out, stick it on and throw it in a frying pan and then hope for the best when it comes up. So all I'm going to do here, I'm going to use some of these nicely roasted tomatoes that you've cooked for me.
It's all about the tomatoes.
I know that. And then we've got the glazed lemon as well. And then all we need to do here is just some fresh herbs on top. And again, beautiful sea bass dish.
Keeping its shape. You can tell that skin's lovely and crisp.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay.
It's coming together, chef.
It is indeed. So what I'm going to do now is remove the prawns and the padron peppers. some salt on them. And just here, we've got just a little dipping sauce. Put that on some gauze actually. Little dipping sauce.
So a little tapas bar, somewhere that's doing the bar stack menus, they can turn this on last minute, and you just have one chef with all the equipment by him, all of the stuff ready to go, all the prep, and he can do so many different things within the bar stack menu or the overnight menu.
Yeah, I mean, it just gives you so much scope to use from it. You know, there's everything that I need there, all in a small space. So here as well, we've got the pakoras. So we've just got a few prawn pakoras that we can put in there. And we're just going to garnish with some nice dried chilli and some spring onion.
Don't be afraid of the chilli, chef.
Yeah, I'm the same. One of my favourites. And some radish, a bit of colour. So there's another two little tapas dishes that we've done. Ideal. You've got pakoras and you've got the, let's turn those round, the prawns as well. So I'm just going to push them forward.
And you haven't moved away from that sort of metre and a half space.
No, it suits the man of my physique perfectly, John.
I think with the shape of both of us, we need the space-saving kitchen.
Exactly. I've got a piece of steak there as well, and what I'm doing with that is we're just resting that, so I'll leave that over here for the meantime. How long have we got left on that fondant, John, if you don't mind?
1 minute, chef.
Excellent, so it's come together perfectly right. So the aubergine now goes onto the plate.
Oh, that's got some lovely colour on it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful colour on that. And then all I've got on here is some homemade chipotle chili baked beans, just with a selection of beans and...
Oh, lovely.
It's nice on the steak as a bit of a...
So that smoky flavour of the beans would go really well with the aubergine.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little tapas dish, to be honest. Nice side order, something like that. Can you? So all I do there is use the garnish that you cooked as well. So we've got the nice parsnip crisps. They go on top. I won't cover all the beans.
And lovely doing them through the combi rather than deep frying them, so slightly healthier and they crisp up lovely. Yeah, so you don't get that.
And there we go. So we've got nice the aubergine steak there as well.
I'll get your fondant, chef.
Ah, brilliant. Thank you very much. So what I'm going to do now is just put the chips in to finish off the steak.
Fondant's looking good.
Fantastic.
Downfall of many a TV chef, I've been told.
So the chips are in there, John, as well. We're just frying them off. Steak's resting beautifully. I'm just going to get the plate ready for that. She's going to sit on here. So as soon as we're done with the steak, I'll just let the fondants just settle a little bit because they're too hot for me to actually handle at the moment. And then we'll plate the steak up and finish with the fondants.
Fantastic.
So just cooking.
So the steak's just resting there.
Yeah, what we've also got here as well is worth picking up on. As you can see, you've got the indentations on the side. That's so you can fit a 1x1 perforated gastronome in there as well. So if I had an inch of water in the bottom of that boiling away nicely, it turns into a steamer. So the versatility we've got on this, we can use it as a steamer, we can use sous vide, saute, shallow fryer, boiler.
If it was, say, using it as a sous vide,
yeah.
Can you use the space on top of it?
Yes, yeah, sorry, John. Yeah, I'm with you now. Yeah, but there's two lids, so I'll show you this underneath, and they're separated just into two sections. And again, if we're doing some overnight cooking or very slow cooking pork belly in there, you could remove one of the sections if you want, so you can see the item, but you're also keeping the moisture in there. We've got the back piece as well. So, like you said, now we could be sous vide on there, but you've still got that space. So we could put a chopping board on that and work away quite happily.
And you're not intruding onto the control screen because you've got this.
Yeah, no, exactly. So with the control screen, what I can do now is just switch to the left-hand side, and it's showing me both sides that I can use. So I've got all of my all of my dishes that I'm doing at the moment have been through the oil. This is sous vide in a way, nice and quiet out the way. You could have prep boards or mise en place on there, ready to go back in here.
They're fully suitable with all of the equipment.
Yeah. So the chips can go off with a steak.
My lunch is nearly ready, I see.
Lots of nice salt, and then all I'm going to do here is just place that onto the board. Put these here. So we'll give this a slice up. This should be beautifully rare inside. It's been rested nicely as well, so you can see the colour is fantastic of it.
I hope the cameras are doing that justice. The colour's fantastic.
Yeah, it's got the charring around the side, and then you've got the beautiful pink meat inside as well. So all I'm going to do now is just put this onto here, lay it out nicely, add the chips to this. So nice twice cooked crisp chips ready to go.
So just 3 minutes through the steamer, fully cooked.
Yeah.
So same again, they'd be what, typically 20, 25 minutes to steam, if not longer?
Exactly, yeah. So everything's there, it's settled into position. I've still got a few of these tomatoes here, so we can just place them there. And then just finish this with a nice bit of chimichurri, which we'll just cut through the steak. And gives it
My
that.
favourite.
Oh, beautiful.
Really sort of that hit of the red vinegar and the spice really hits with the steak and cuts through any fat, doesn't it, from the chips?
Yeah, 100%. So from there as well, I mean,
Let me just take those away, chef.
Look at the colour of that steak, absolutely beautiful. And then we'll just move everything along again. We'll get a bit of space and we'll finish off with the fondant. So the fondant's now perfectly ready to come out, he hopes. Just give them a little score around the side, just to make sure it comes out and doesn't embarrass me. It's come out nice, and then all I do with this is finish with a bit of mascarpone, and just behind me here, tiny bit of cocoa powder just to give it a little light dusting.
We're going to break it for the people.
Yeah, we can do. So if we just look in here, oh, I'll move it here so we got a good view of it, and then we should have some nice gooey chocolate inside as well. So perfect on the programming as well. In a pastry kitchen, what we could do with that, John, is set it into the mini jet as well, because we realise that pastry kitchens have smaller space a lot of the time. So we can set the same program in the mini jet as what we did there, but this keeps you consistency all the time.
Fantastic. And closing down the kitchen?
Literally on this, all I would do is remove the lids. And then what we have on here, if I just go onto the right hand side, we go over to the toolbox. Toolbox and press start. As you can see, the water's tipping in now. That will actually stop. Because the base, it's reading that it's over 135 degrees. So regarding safety in the kitchen and the atmosphere, we don't want bits of fat and etc. and oil spitting up and burning people. So what it does, it will slowly pulse it in until it goes lower than 135. Then it will just free flow into the actual pressy pan. It will boil it for a small amount of time, and then it'll ask you to empty it down the drain, and that's the clean facility completely done.
So ready to tell you to put in the chemicals when you need it, agitate it, clean it.
Well, one of the things
really simple.
With this, John, is if I'm making a stock or something, I get my caramelisation of all my vegetables and my bones in there, and then deglaze it with that with the water, so it just takes all that flavour off it. So it's all, I'm doing every part of that job all in one container.
Yep.
Okay, go into the combi oven. All I need to do is go into toolbox and press start. 2 buttons.
So just 2 buttons. There's no cooling down in the oven, no having to put any chemicals in or...
Yeah.
And the mini jet?
Mini jet, exactly the same. All we do is we stop the process because it's on
Yep.
at the moment. Go into the settings button here. And as you can see, the clean, adjust the clean to a small clean and press start.
So what's the typical cleaning times?
Cleaning times on these ovens for a short clean, which we just selected there, is 30 minutes. An average clean is around about £1.55. So really competitively priced.
Fantastic. So what have we cooked today, chef?
Yeah, we'll have a little run through the dishes. What I'll just do is stop this for a second. Running through the dishes, what we've got today. So we've got the warm chocolate fondant, which we just had a look at. As you can see, beautifully oozy and ready to go. We've got the 2 tapas dishes of prawns and the bacoras as well. And then also the aubergine. Okay, nice chipotle beans on that, and we'll use the garnish from the mini jet as well, which has made some beautifully even crisp parsnip crisps. We've got the beautiful rare steak with chimichurri and chips. We've got the two super healthy dishes that we've got here as well. So we've got beautiful salmon and the prawns and the noodle dishes. Again, sticking on the fish theme, we've got crispy sea bass, roasted garlic tomatoes and glazed lemon. And we've also got the salmon, Thai style salmon with a little bit of Thai curry sauce. Nice light summery kind of dish there.
Looks good to me, Chef.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and I hope we've shown you the speed and ease of use of the equipment. The high-speed steamer with its time saving it affords. We hope to show you the flexibility of the Pressy pan, showing you its multifunctionality, the fact that it's fully suitable with the Bonnet range, so it's easy to clean. We've over 9 different cooking modes. With its drainage system, it allows the chef to stay front and central to the equipment. The PressyJet Plus with its full programmability, allowing you to maximize productivity. With its width-wave loading, which allows full view of the product and ease of loading. And its simple one-touch, one-operation control. And with kitchens ever shrinking and some chefs ever growing, space saving of the mini jet with its full gastronom capacity at only 525 wide, as we've said, and the ability to place it next to other cooking appliances. Well, I hope you enjoyed today and learnt from it about the benefits of Hobart cooking equipment as much as we're going to enjoy tucking into this amazing food soon. So please join us again next time on the 25th of August, where we'll be diving deeper into the equipment. Thank you for myself.
Thank you very much for myself.